All right, guys, at this point, I'm going to ask you to take a moment, and if you could just imagine a world where St. Jude did not exist. In the same world, imagine if a loved one, your child, a relative's child, your cousin, right? Imagine if this young person got cancer, right? I know that's something I would never wish upon anybody, and I don't even know where to begin, as far as how you would feel. I know I'd be extremely devastated, very, very, very sad if that ever happened. Um, and along with treatment, you also have to look at the cost. Unfortunately, with treatment, the cost is going to be you're going to have to pay for doctors. You're going to have to pay for medicine, right? Uh, well, what if you don't have the money in order to pay for that sort of thing? Unfortunately, cancer is a very expensive disease. It's not inexpensive. So what if you don't have insurance, right? Well, what do you do? Where do you turn to in those type of situations? Now, cost of cancer doesn't end with the treatment of it, unfortunately. There are a lot of other things that go associated with it. You have to think about the patient, right? When you're a patient, you have to go to the hospital to get treated. Well, that's going to take time, and unfortunately, sometimes it can be as little as a month. Sometimes it can be, treatment can be 4, 6, 8 months. So can you imagine staying at a hotel, at a hospital, how expensive that can get? I'm sure it adds up very quickly. And then if you as a parent, can't or don't have the money, how do you decide who gets to go with the child? I'm sure both the parents would love to be there more than anything in the world. But these decisions, these sort of things are something they're going to have to come across and face and decide who gets to go, who doesn't get to go, or maybe neither one get to go. Another cost you're looking at as well is like the emotional and physical pain. Although you're physically not debilitated, but and this is going back to the how do you feel when you find out that a loved one is sick, right? I'm sure you would just feel sick to your stomach. You might even get sick, right? I'm sure it's something very difficult to handle. And another cost we're looking at whenever we're dealing with cancer is the type of food you might eat, right? So kind of going with the treatment, imagine if you took, your family of four, let's say, and you went out and ate. At home, this might have ran you 10, 20 bucks. Well, now that you're not home, the cost is going to increase significantly. I know whenever I eat out, I'm generally spending about $50, and that's me and my girlfriend. So I can only imagine, a larger family, how that can actually eat away at their budget. Now, what's great about St. Jude is they've had great success in their cancer treatment since they've opened. St. Jude is not just a research facility, they're not just a hospital, they're also a research facility, which is great. They annually help over 7,800 kids with cancer. And as Dominique mentioned earlier, I think this is a really cool fact. The survival rate in cancer has improved from 20% to 80% since St. Jude has opened, which I think that's an awesome number. The only thing that can make that number even better if it was larger, right? Maybe 90%, 95%, right? That would be such a cool number. And maybe in the future, St. Jude, I'm sure, can reach those sorts of numbers, so that would be great. St. Jude is also not a hospital. They're also a home away from home. What's great about St. Jude is if you can't, pay for you to be there, pay for the patient, what's great about them is there is not going to be a cost to you. They actually have off-site little houses depending on how long you might be there with your kid. They'll board you in a particular house, and it might be like a 1 month thing. and then the child might actually stay in the hospital. So that's really cool there. Not only that, and this goes back to the not just the physical illness again, because you have to cope uh, mentally, right? I'm pretty sure it's a draining thing. So what's really cool about St. Jude is they also have staff on hand where you can talk to. So although you might not be home, again, these people, they're there to talk to you, to comfort you. They deal with this sort of thing on a daily, day-to-day, day-to-day. And then also from there, I would like to say, at this point that thankfully we don't live in that alternate universe. Thankfully, St. Jude does exist, but unfortunately, because cancer does exist, we need organizations like St. Jude.